Long ago, in a village nestled at the edge of a wide and whispering forest, there lived a peasant girl named Katarina. She was not a princess. She had no jewels, no noble blood, no powerful family name. But what she did have, oh, it was something far rarer than gold. She had her wits. Katarina lived with her father in a modest cottage, warmed by the fire and filled with the books she'd bartered from traveling peddlers. Her mother had passed long ago, but her father, a kind and gentle man, had raised her with stories, laughter, and the firm belief that cleverness would serve her better than any dowry. One spring morning, her father hitched their only cow to a rope and walked it to market. The cow was old, but healthy, and they hoped it would bring in enough coin to get them through the next season. But when he returned, he looked pale and defeated. "I traded her," he muttered, setting down a few copper coins, "to a well-dressed nobleman. He said it was all she was worth." Katerina frowned. "A nobleman? Did he give you no receipt? No witness?" The old man shook his head. She pressed her lips together. "That's not a trade. That's a theft." So the next morning, Katerina tied her hair back with a ribbon, wrapped herself in her best, though still patched, shawl, and made her way up the winding road to the manor at the top of the hill. She knocked on the grand door. The nobleman, young and smug, opened it himself. "What do you want, girl?" "My father sold you our cow. You underpaid him by half," Katerina said boldly. "I've come to collect the rest." The nobleman gave her a slow, amused smile. "So, the calf thinks she can demand from the lion. Very well, I enjoy a game. If you're as clever as you claim, you'll answer 3 riddles. Solve them, and I'll pay you double. Fail, and you'll work in my kitchens for a year." Katerina's eyes narrowed. "Deal." The nobleman leaned against the doorframe and said, "What is the fastest thing in the world?" "Thought," she said. "It travels faster than wind and reaches places the body never can." He raised an eyebrow. "What is the fattest thing in the world?" "Greed," Katerina replied. "It grows endlessly, no matter how much you feed it." The nobleman straightened. "What is the softest thing in the world?" "A loving heart," she said, "because it can bear the heaviest burdens and still forgive." There was silence. Then slowly, he clapped his hands and handed her a bag of coins. "Well played, peasant. You've earned it." Katerina curtsied low. "Your riddles were simple. Perhaps next time you'll ask something harder." She turned and left, leaving the nobleman both irritated and impressed. Word of Katerina's wit traveled quickly, like wildfire through dry grass. Soon her name was spoken in every corner of the kingdom. One day, a royal carriage arrived at her door. 2 soldiers stood at attention, and a steward stepped forward with a scroll. "By royal decree, Lady Katarina is summoned to the palace to counsel His Majesty the King." Her father panicked. "What if they punish you?" Katarina only smiled. "Then I will outtalk them." The palace was larger than any place she'd imagined. Its floors made of polished marble, and its ceilings carved with golden stars. In the great hall, the king sat on a throne carved from oak and lion bone. He was young, handsome, and bored. "So," he said, "you are the peasant girl who outwitted my nobleman." "I am," said Katerina, calm as ever. "I've no need for jesters," the king said, "but I could use someone who speaks truth. You will be my advisor for 1 week. Prove yourself, and you shall stay. Fail, and back to the village you go." By the end of the week, even the skeptical nobles were whispering of her wisdom. But the king had one final test. He gave her a sheep and said, "Slaughter it, cook it, bring me the best part and the worst." Katarina served him tongue. "Why this?" the king asked, eyes narrowed. "Because the tongue can bless or curse, start wars or end them. It is both our greatest weapon and our deepest wound." The king sat back. "Very well then, answer me this. If I were to marry you, what would you bring me as a wedding gift?" Katarina smiled. "Neither jewels nor riches, only myself, if you can earn me." The court gasped. The king laughed. "Then I'll give you a riddle. Come to my castle tomorrow, not clothed, not naked, not walking, not riding, not alone, not in company. Solve it, and I will marry you." The next morning, the king waited on the castle steps, curious to see if she would dare. And she did. Katarina approached the gates, wrapped in a fishing net, riding a donkey with one foot dragging on the ground, and leading a small dog on a leash. The king blinked, then roared with laughter. Not clothed, but not naked. Not walking, but not riding. Not alone, but not in company. Well done. Then he took her hand and said, "Will you marry me, clever Katarina?" She nodded, "But on one condition. If you ever grow tired of me, you must let me take with me the one thing I love most in the castle." He agreed without hesitation. Years passed. Katarina was made queen. She ruled with sharp words and a kind heart, balancing justice and cleverness in equal measure. The people adored her. But some in court, jealous men and bitter women, whispered poison in the king's ear. "Your queen overshadows you," they said. "She makes you look foolish." In a moment of pride, the king declared, "I no longer wish to be mocked by my wife. Katarina, return to your village." She did not argue. She only bowed and said, "As you promised, I shall take with me one thing I love the most in this castle." That night, she prepared him warm wine with honey. The king drank it and drifted into a deep, dreamless sleep. He awoke the next morning in a straw bed, his crown nowhere in sight. "What is this?" he gasped, sitting up. Katarina, seated nearby, handed him a mug of tea. "My old cottage," she said. "You promised I could take with me the thing I loved most in the castle. That thing was you." The king laughed, tears in his eyes. "You outwitted me again." She smiled. "Would you like breakfast?" He said, "Only if you come back to the castle with me." And so she did, and they ruled together for many years more, him with his crown and her with her mind. And it was said in every village and every court, a wise king listens to his queen, but only a wise queen can bring a king to his senses with nothing more than her wit. The end.